It's not been easy talking to him, but on and off during the day I've managed to talk to him. I've been trying to persuade him to make a statement, perhaps a brief statement, on how he feels on camera, but he's been very reluctant to do that. In fact, more than reluctant, he's terrified of the secrecy laws that exist, that we've been dealing with ourselves over the past 13, 14 days. But he has given me an idea of how he feels, and I think this is probably best summed up. One of the things he said to me was, "This has ruined my life, and it's made things very difficult for my family here and in Britain." We know he has a brother and sister in the UK, and a daughter, of course. He also told me, "The only way I will survive this is if they catch Madeleine's abductor." And then I think he summed up his feelings with one other thought: "I've been made a scapegoat for something I did not do," he told me.
Give us an idea, if you can, about the forensics. We know searches have been taking place.
Yeah, I mean, we watched through the evening yesterday. I mean, it started earlier in the day, quite a big team of forensic officers. And I've been managing to piece together something of what's been removed. 2 computers. Certainly, we think the computer of the house that was used by his mother and his own laptop computer. Mobile phones have been taken away, his own mobile phone he's not been able to use. 2 cars were examined. We've seen something of a green VW camper that his mother has been using, and there's also a hire car that they've had for the past few days. Now, they weren't taken away, they were examined in situ. That examination is over. I'm also told that we talked about the swimming pool being drained. That didn't happen. What did happen, though, I understand, is a police diver, went into a rather large water tank beside the swimming pool, but as far as we know, nothing was found in that. Some clothes were taken, but we think it was only a small amount, and certainly a pair of jeans was involved. And then Jeremy Murat told me a rather bizarre story about how officers inside yesterday emptied the family shredder, and they were trying for quite a long time to tape together the strands of paper. In the end, they found that so difficult that they gave up, and she told me that the 2 bags of the shredded documents are still inside the house, so they didn't take those away.
Martin, as a matter of interest, do we know whether the police have taken his passport?
They have, as far as I understand it, but I think that his attitude, I've learned, is that even without a passport, he would be free to travel over the border into Spain. But I think under the terms in which they've questioned him and released him, I don't think he's allowed to do that. But they've kept his passport, certainly.
What have you managed to learn about his potential alibi, about his movements on the night that Madeleine disappeared?
Well, Jenny Murat, I spoke to last night, she said that he had been there all night with her on the night that Madeleine disappeared, the 3rd of May. More precisely, I understand that he got home at around 7 o'clock that night. He was there for something like an hour on his own. His mother came back at around 8 o'clock, and they've both made it clear to police that they were there together. They shared a meal, they chatted about this and that, and then they went to bed. And the first they ever knew, they've told police, of Madeleine's abduction was a call from a family member the next morning, something like 7 o'clock, when they were told that, "Did you know a girl near your house has gone missing?" And they said that was the first they ever knew of that.
What have you managed to find out about the reasons that the police were interested in him? I mean, why did they take him in for questioning in the first place and then hold him for 17 or 18 hours?
Well, we know that a number of people had gone to police and said, "Look, we think that you should ask a few questions of this chap who lives locally, Robert Murat." Whether the police had their own suspicions at that stage, we're not clear, but they clearly made a decision that they wanted to talk to him. But again, from what I've been able to understand, what I've been able to find out today, he was taken in yesterday morning. We know that he hasn't been formally arrested, but on Sunday night he discovered that he was under surveillance. He realised that he'd been followed by a car which he assumed was a police car. He went to police locally and confronted them about that, and it may well be that the police felt that their undercover operation against him had been blown, and that perhaps is what prompted them to come here yesterday morning and take him in.